Hey, everybody. So glad you have joined me yet again. It is a Monday evening, 8 p.m. time for the Sharpe Way. That's kind of how it works. I'm trying to make sure that I'm staying doing the 8 p.m. Sharpe Way. I'm trying to make sure that I continue to do it so we can keep some continuity here and keep chatting. Some of you might have seen me earlier doing a Libertarians in Diners Drinking Coffee. This is a different one. This one is much more about answering your questions, much more of an AMA, a back and forth. It's harder now, right? Because before, when I was in the studio, it was much easier for me to just, get on the phone and start, having people call in and chat. Having guests was a whole lot easier. I will do some guests also, but I wanted to make sure that I'm available for you guys to start talking and kind of answering questions and things like that, things that you're concerned about. So that is what today will be this evening will be more than anything. I'm trying to also make sure it goes across multiple platforms so that whether you're watching on Twitter, whether you're watching on YouTube, whether you're watching on Facebook, that you can at least respond and chat about things that matter to you. One of the things I want to bring up, I saw something that really bothered me. Good and bad, I should say. So I shouldn't say bothered me. That affected me. Maybe it's a better way of saying that. And it's stuff that I saw on one of the weekend shows. And I may actually show some of it. I may show some of it tomorrow or day after on another live. But it was Fareed Zakaria. Fareed Zakaria actually, he had a panel of people talking about the virus and the economy and all those things. And there's a gentleman who was talking about exactly what I was talking about. He was saying, look, this isn't about just all of a sudden, getting out people out into the world and let's start working. That's not what this is about. What this was about was let's do it smartly. Let's do it in a way that makes sense, getting the right people out with data, who is concerned, who is not, back and forth. So that's what I was trying to talk about. And he actually said that. And a person right afterwards said, it's about, lives or your 401k, and made it exactly what it's not about. And it drives me crazy. I'm going to see if I can answer some of these questions. So Nathan's asking, can we have to get out of our federal financial grave? If not soon, then no. There's a joke I heard from a comedian. He said something like, something to his friend, and his friend said, we're in trouble. We owe China, $1 trillion or whatever number he said. And the guy said, we're not in trouble. China's in trouble. We're never paying that back. And that's an issue, Nathan. If we don't start to fix this now, at one point it's unrepairable, right? I was teasing someone once. They said, Larry, we're going to fine you, $10,000. At the time, I had no money. So I was like, make it 100,000. Make it 1 million. Make it 1 billion, right? Fine me for whatever you're going to fine me. I'm not paying anyway. So who cares? And at one point, the amount of debt becomes irrelevant. Once we start going past 50 trillion, 100 trillion, does it really matter anymore at that point, Nathan? It's never getting paid back. We're basically renting ourselves out to the Chinese or to whomever is buying our stuff forever. So at one point, it doesn't matter. It seems like eventually we have to go to default. I think that has to be the answer. I don't know when that's going to happen. Bankruptcy is basically the only answer eventually. And you can see it's worse now because, as I was talking about, a woman who was on the weekend brought this up. She said, everybody who knew the economy was going to crash again relatively soon. They didn't know when because the Fed keeps pumping money into it. So at one point they have to run out or something pops the bubble. It's a massive debt bubble. They've done no repair from 2008. I've been preaching that literally for years. And if you go around, you look around, there has been no recovery since 2008. My entire plan that I brought up, which I called the half plan or the 3-half plan, which is a plan that you don't actually bail out any individual. You just give everybody a 6-month financial institution debt holiday. 6 months, you pay absolutely no financial issues at all, right? No credit cards, no mortgages, no loans, nothing financial for 6 months. and then the government just pays the banks. It's a simple. There is no cronyism. There's no money going someplace else. Is it terrible? Yes. Is it debt? Yes. It's all those bad things that we're doing now anyway. The difference is this gives us 6 months to figure out how to reboot. It gives us 6 months figuring out how to change things so we don't get screwed again, right? To prepare us for the next thing that pops our bubble so that we don't get screwed. Right now, no one's preparing. The answer is another bailout, right? So when this comes again, and it will happen again, they'll just bail us out again. It's what they'll do. And they'll put more money in it. And they'll go from 35 trillion or whatever it is then to 50 trillion or insert number there. So what she was saying, what I've been saying is there's been no actual repair. There's nothing for the future here. We're going to say, oh, we've just survived now. Great. And 5 years from now, 10 years from now, and the next one, think about it. 2000 was the dot-com bubble, right? When did all our big suicide issues start popping up? After that bubble, right? Then about 9 years later, then there's the real estate, commercial real estate, and banking bubble. 10 years later, this one. Boom, 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 boom. 2030, is that the final nail in the coffin? Or we just go more in debt? So it's a great question, Nathan. I'm not sure if there's a good answer for that. So thank you for that. Are there police checkpoints in place to enforce curfews? There is a cop on almost every other corner in Manhattan. I mean, nothing but cops everywhere. They're everywhere. And now in New York City, they're handing out fines of $250 if you're caught not within 6 feet or whatever is the rules of the day. So yeah, it's a problem, Michael. Thank you for that. And you've left New York, Michael. Come back, damn you. Suffer with the rest of us. So, all right. How bad do you believe the economy will get? Best and worst outcomes. It's bad. It's worse. It's depression. It's depression. Because, again, no one thought, how do we make that shift, right? How do we move to the next level? It's just keep everyone in, and people are starting to see that was a mistake because they're not looking at data at all. They should be looking at data. Who is, more likely to be in trouble? Who is more likely to not be in trouble? Who is most likely to recover? Who is most likely to not have symptoms? All those things we now know. We have that data from China, which I don't really believe, but we have it surely from South Korea, Italy, Spain. We're seeing that data now, and we did nothing with it. And we really should have. We should have done that, and we should be looking at, okay, who has the best chance of going out? And then voluntarily, if you want to roll a dice because you have a low chance, go back to work if you want to. If your people want to, go. But who is really at risk? Protect them. As some of you know, last weekend, I was out driving around. I was a driver, basically driving around, handing out stuff, dropping off stuff to family, friends. I wasn't going in. I was masked up, and I'm not going in because, there's an issue. So I got masked up, had gloves, the whole deal, dropped the stuff off, and left, right? That's what I think we have to be doing. But the economy is going to get a whole lot worse. 3 million people who've already applied for unemployment. And there's a bunch of entrepreneurs who were like me in 2008, 2009. I didn't get hit till 2009. The crash 2008, I didn't feel 2009, 2010 is when I began to feel, when I felt it. And I felt it hard. When it hit me, I was that entrepreneur who was, I could do this. This can't last more than 3 months. I'll be fine. I was wrong. I got my ass kicked. I had to fire my employees, shut my business down. But I didn't actually do that for over a year after. There are entrepreneurs right now who are trying desperately to hold on to their business. Go 6 months, a year from now, they're gone too. They're not getting any of this money. They're getting none of this money. So the economy is going to get worse. Because remember, most new technology comes from small business. Most new jobs comes from small business. That's all going away. The gig economy, that's been moving our economy for the past at least 5 years, that's all small businesses going away. So it's going to get horribly bad before it gets better, assuming it doesn't just stagnate. We don't become just Japan and just become a stagnation for the future. That's my assumption because the government doesn't know how to act. They have no idea how to act. All they know is take centralized control, which, by the way, never makes things better. And after we take centralized control, then let's give more money and have more controls. And it doesn't work, right? As we grab for control, you watch everything just slip out of our hands. So that's not the answer. Do you think that we'll get to the point where we get tracked for wellness, either in our cell phones or something in order to check our wellness or contagion? Yeah. There's a similar thing starting already, which is they're trying to put chips in ID cards. So there's a similar thing kind of popping already. Some people are doing it voluntarily already now. People are volunteering to do it. And while I don't have a problem with people voluntarily deciding to put a chip in their body to monitor themselves, that's your body. You want to do that? Good for you. The problem with that is it will become the more the norm, which again, voluntary is fine. But then once that happens, now we start voting on it. And once more than 50% of the population, once more than 50% of the people who vote decide that that's the norm, then yeah, that's going to happen. All of a sudden, we're getting, along with your vaccine comes your chip. That's has always been my worry. It's the reason why I was so much against forced vaccinations, because I think this is a normal consequence of it, right? They will use this wellness piece as your wellness affects others, therefore the social good matters, therefore we can force you to do things, right? They're already in New York City literally taking down basketball hoops so you can't play basketball. Cops are driving around tracks, so you make sure you're running 6 feet apart or more. So what's next? So I am concerned. Thank you. See if I can grab some more. What do you think about vermin? I thought he was fine. I'm trying to give every one of the, I guess, more popular. That's a relative term, but I'm kind of going by what's on the LP.org website. Some of the more popular presidential candidates in the LP, an opportunity to be on the show and talk and to not have to be in a debate, right? Debates are fine, but if you notice when I talk to people, I tend to try to have a conversation versus debate. And I want people to kind of hear what he's saying. And so I don't want to take a stance on anybody because I want to wait. I'm doing, I think Lincoln Chafee tomorrow. So Lincoln Chafee will be on tomorrow. We can knock that out too. I care more, Rebecca, what you think about vermin. Please let me know. Why didn't you run for the LP nomination for president? That's a great question. And people ask me this all the time. And I will tell you why. If I would have run for president, or if I would have run for president, I would have had to begin last year to have any impact. Not even knowing that Corona was coming. I wouldn't have known that, right? But I would have started last year, right? Starting last year, I would have had to run in the summer, and I would have started raising money and building a team and all that stuff last year. Why didn't I do that? I physically couldn't for two reasons. One, most of you know I ran for governor a couple years ago. I went a year and a half with no salary. Please imagine if you were to go a year and a half with no salary, what your finances would look like. That's what mine looked like. So I couldn't afford to go another year and a half without a salary and run for president. Couldn't afford to do it. Not just that. I basically abandoned most of my family for most of that year and a half. I like my wife. I'd like to keep her. I like my kids. I like to see them. So I figured if I ran, I would lose all of that. So I decided, no, I can't do it. So could I have done it anyway to fly the flag? Sure. But then I would have done a half-ass job, which is what I tell people to not do. They tend to do it anyway. I tell people stop running half-ass campaigns. They still do it. But I try to show the example, Dustin, I don't want to run a half-ass campaign. And the reason is when I run, and for those of you who watch me, I ask a lot of you too. I ask you for money. I ask you for time. I ask you for your energy. I ask you to share. I ask you to give me stuff. I ask a lot. I ask you to show up at my events. I ask you to like and I ask you for all that stuff. And if I'm going to ask you for all that stuff, Dustin, I want you to feel like I gave you 100%, that you're happy that you gave me money. You're not like another wasted guy that threw my money away on, which sadly is about half of our campaigns, at least for the LP. I want to try to stop that. So I'm not prepared to run until I'm ready to do it 100%. So that when I say, give me money, give me time, give me energy, you're like, I'm glad I gave this guy my time, money, and energy because he busted his ass for me and he's giving me results. So I'm a business guy. I'm not going to take your money unless I can give you value. If I can't give you value, I don't want to take your time and money. That's why I'm not running. But not just that. You don't have to always run to have impact. Many of us can have impact without having to run. I'm not running, but I'm trying to have impact, doing this, helping others, all those things. I'm trying to have impact. So I hope I answered your question. I hope we get somebody cool who does win. Hope that's good. By the way, do me a favor if you would, and like, comment, and share. Right? Like, comment, and share us everywhere. If you want to help me out, this is the way to do so. Help me out by like, commenting, and sharing. Get other people to see it. Tag them. Do all that kind of good stuff if you can. And if you want to, of course, please like the Facebook page. That will be amazing if you do that. Also, of course, like Twitter also matters. All that stuff matters. Liking all that stuff matters. And, of course, like the YouTube page. All of these are important. So, all right. Let me see if I could grab some more questions. Shave and look professional. You saying I should shave and look professional? Maybe. I'm not running. So, maybe. Where am I? Hold on, just in case you wanted to see who that was. You can do that too. And not a question, rather grievance. New York State unemployment is near impossible to get through on the phone. They should do a callback service instead. This is my whole point, right? Instead of us having to do specialty for everything, which creates bureaucracy, Sonia, that's exactly my point. If we didn't do that and we just said, Sonia, don't pay your bills for 6 months. If we just said that, no credit card, no insurance, no mortgage, and if you rent, well, your guy or gal who owns your apartment building doesn't have to pay his or her mortgage, so they can actually half your rent. That was the half program, right? It was half of a year you don't pay, all rents cut in half, and if people want to, all salaries could be cut in half. You might say, well, wait a minute, my salary cut in half? You're not paying your bills for 6 months and your rent's in half. You can deal with a half salary if you want to. It will be optional, right? You could do it if you wanted to. This would allow people to keep their jobs over this time and rebuild. You're totally right, Sonia. This is why I was against this concept. I wanted it to be simpler, simpler, simpler. All right. Should people go into gold, crypto, and ammo? This is a great question. I hear it all the time. I'm in crypto myself. I'm not in gold. I was always concerned about gold because it always seemed like people jump into it and jump out. Same with crypto, but crypto for me, just my personal opinion is, I'm just holding on to it. I'm not really trading. I'm not doing day trading, anything like that. I don't really purchase anything with it, to be forward with you. It's much more of I've got a bunch away in case things go really bad. I've got something to buy something with if I need it. That's why I do it. Gold, to me, I worry because I don't know which of the people I trust with gold, which are the right people to do it. So I've just done crypto. So I hope that was a good answer. All right, see if I can find some more questions here. Guys, thank you for all the questions. It's amazing. You guys are doing a lot of questions. Will our currency ever collapse? At the moment, I think it won't, because our currency, for those you don't know, is backed by the U.S. military. So as long as there are military bases everywhere and our military is doing what it's doing, not that I'm happy that it's doing it, to be clear. I'm not happy that it's out there in empire, but as long as it's an empire, I think our currency is pretty much set. When we start to, take apart the empire, which I hope is soon, I don't see it happening right away, but I hope it would happen, then we might be concerned, right? Then it might be concerned. Now, I know that landlords, until they can evict for non-payment. That's awesome, right? No, that's terrible. The reason why that's terrible is if you are a massive landlord and you have 200, 400, 1,000, 2,000 units and 10%, 20% of people can't pay their rent, you don't go under. You've got a massive buffer. You don't go under. But let's say you're a little guy, little gal. You own 2 apartments or 1 apartment in your house, and that person doesn't pay their rent. You're screwed. You're in trouble. You're in trouble. This rule is going to hurt only the smaller owners, not the big landlords, developers, which is why, again, I said, just don't pay your bills for 6 months. This goes away, right? This gives the landlord a chance to, why I say half rent is landlords still have to pay for maintenance and things of that sort that they still have to pay for, right? So that still has to happen. So they get half rent. But with half rent, most people with half rent and half salary, without having to pay any credit card bills, any insurance, any mortgages, they tend to be, no car notes, they tend to be able to handle their rents. You allow people to survive doing that. You're totally correct, Kathy. It was a terrible idea. I know. Alienated, yes. This is a huge issue. And all I can tell you for people who, those who don't know, this crisis, I'll use that word, is a great excuse for a lot of parents who are alienating kids to do it even worse, to be even more horrible. Lots of excuses. And as a general rule, you're not going to see law enforcement do anything. You're not going to see attorneys do anything right now. It's terrible. It's unfair. It's horrible. The best thing you can do is document. I know that's a crappy answer. I wish I had a better answer for you, but that's the answer. Document, 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 so that when the time comes, you have some proof, you have some documentation to show. Because the problem is, when, those of you who've been part of the family court system, when you get alienated, only one parent, the parent who's alienating you, gets a say. You don't. And if you just go, I feel this, no one hears you, because they've been poisoning you, everyone against you, for literally months, sometimes years. Documentation is your only answer. Sorry, Christopher, I wish I had a better answer, but that's kind of all it is. Do you think we'll see the MMT UBI helicopter money? Sadly, probably, right? The problem is, again, because this is not what I said, which is the 6 months, right, half plan. This actually is just one stimulus. And what will it require? More. This one's not going to work. This stimulus is not going to work. It just isn't. There's no way it works. It's not meant to work. If you see what it is, it's meant as a giveaway to cronies, to make sure that people who support whoever's in charge get their cut. That's what this is about. This is why the Democrats fought tomorrow to make sure their guys got their cut, because they knew what Trump would do. Now, you guys who like Democrats, Trump screwed up too. You guys who like Trump, Democrats screwed up too. They both screwed up. I guess that means both of you guys are mad at me, but they're both bad. Democrats went out of their way to make sure their cronies were set in stone, who gets what they want, from NPR to insert thing here, every piece they got what they wanted. Then Trump said, yeah, and oversight? Nah, I'm oversighting how I give it out, which means he's going to make sure his cronies get it. This is a bunch of big business sucking at the teat of government, and the small landlord, the small business owner, the little guy or gal is going to get screwed. So yes, eventually when the second or third round comes out, it will, because some of you heard me say this before. In all of these crashes, 2000, 2009, and this one, what happens is the people who knew it up front already got out, and they already have cash. They're liquid, right? They already did it. Remember the senators who sold their stocks 2 months or 3 months ago? Yeah, they knew too. So they sell their stuff in advance, so they can become liquid, and they've got a bunch of cash. Now the small business guy tries to hold on until as long as he can. He can't, and she can't, so she has to sell her home or sell her apartment building or sell her small business. Who's there to buy it? The big guys who are liquid. So they're going to suck up all those assets. They're going to suck up small businesses. They're going to suck up physical land. They're going to suck up store shops. They're going to suck up intellectual property. They're going to grab all that stuff. Any new startups that all of a sudden can't get funded anymore, they're going to grab those, pennies on a dollar. They can grab all that stuff. And when they're done grabbing it all, that's not for us. Well, UBI starts looking really good. And for those of you who don't know what UBI is, it is universal basic income. It's everybody just gets a check every month. Right now, we're starting with the $1,200 a month, depending upon how much you make. Even that's bad, right? What UBI, they're even going to screw up UBI. Not that I'm a fan of UBI, but for those you don't know, UBI, the concept of UBI is everybody gets a check every month, no matter what. Young, old, rich, poor, working, not working, doesn't matter. Everybody gets a check from the government every month, and it's a check that's not to help. This is the theory of UBI. Not to help, but it's a check that you actually can survive on, not thrive. You can just live on. That's what the check is supposed to be for, so no one goes homeless and everybody can eat. So it's something like $3,000 a month or whatever that number would be. It might be different depending upon state or something like that, whatever it is. It's a flat amount of money everybody gets no matter what. If you're wealthy, you just spend it on other stuff, or you give it away, or whatever. You put it in the bank, whatever you do with it. But everybody gets it no matter what. If you do that, the idea is that replaces everything. So there's no disability, no Social Security, no food stamps, no EBT, nothing, right? No form of anything, because everyone gets a check, which means all the bureaucracy goes away, right? One check, all bureaucracy goes away. It saves a ton of money on bureaucracy. No one has to apply. No one, has to decide if they fit the criteria. No qualifications. You're a citizen. You get the money. That's it. While I'm not a fan of that, at least that makes some kind of financial sense to save some money. They're going to do it to where you only get $1,200 a month, or if you're a kid, if you have kids, you get X. If you're a veteran, you get Y. If you're disabled, you get Z. They're going to make it to where there's actually more bureaucracy and more money coming in. So I think we're going to see a worse form of UBI than what UBI is. So Ethan, I'm sorry, I have bad news for you. That's what I think is going to happen. Actually worse. All right, let me see if I can find that. How the hell are they going to pay the fine? Doesn't matter. The point is for you to be in debt to the government forever. That's the point. They'll eventually take your licensing. They'll take your driver's license away. They'll punish you. You'll plead to whatever they tell you to plead. You'll have a criminal record, and your life will be ruined. The goal is just to do that. That's all that matters. Look, the reality of it is, all the money the government can't get now, someone's got to pay for it. Well, I guess it'll be the guys who can. That's what will happen. So, 6-foot rule is serious. You are correct 100%. I absolutely agree. I've seen it in a lot of local communities here. Businesses right now literally having several things, and many of you probably seen this before. In their stores, those who have retail stores, every aisle only goes one way now, so that no one can cross, right? Everyone's going one way. They have people who on each side of the aisles, right, on each side making sure that only certain people going at one time. They're reminding them 6 feet. And they only let a certain number of people into the actual store. And then the line outside the store, each one is 6 or 7 feet. Right? In between each. So the line is like a person or a couple, if it's 2 people, 3 people, whatever it is, that group, 6 or 7 feet, another, 6 or 7 feet, another. So yes, you're totally correct. It is important. And I see people doing it. I see people doing it all the time. Let's see if I can find this. No, you can't print your own money. Don't print your own money. Don't print your own money. You're just going to go to jail. Don't do it. Okay. How do you feel about the current coronavirus restrictions, and how far do you think the government will go? I think the government will go as far as it thinks it can. If you remember what my governor, New York Governor Cuomo, was saying up front, we'll never do a lockdown. We'll never do this. You can't lock down New York. It'll never happen. Oh, I was kidding. It happened. Oh, we'll never do this. Oh, I was kidding. It happened. Oh, we'll never do this. Oh, I was kidding. It happens. So I think they're going to keep pushing until eventually we just stop. As long as Cuomo keeps seeing hashtag President Cuomo and his ratings on TV are high, he'll keep going. It's not like he actually cares. He doesn't. What he cares about is he becoming more popular? If popularity keeps going up, he will keep pushing. He'll keep pushing till he has a cop inside your house if people love it. And sadly, people who are afraid make bad decisions, and people are loving it. That is a problem for sure. I hate that's true, but it absolutely is true. So again, guys, if you want to help me out, like, comment, share, get this out there to the best of your ability. It's important that people that you do this so people keep seeing, people keep talking about it. Always like the Facebook page. If you haven't liked the page, please go like it. It does matter. The more people who like it, the better. These little things matter. So like the Facebook page. If you haven't liked it before, please do that. Please go and follow me on Twitter at Sharpe Way, not just Larry Sharpe. Thank you for Larry Sharpe. Love that. But please go also on Sharpe Way and do it. It does matter. I'm telling you, it matters. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. This stuff matters. They will show it more if I've got more subscribers. So please do that. It does matter. All right. If you want, if I could. Let's see here. There's no way New York will give all that tax money. I don't understand what this is about. I'm sorry, Joshua. I'm not sure what you're talking about. I apologize. So, yeah, sorry about that. A lot of people. Oh, this is a back and forth conversation. Sorry, guys. I jumped in the middle of a back and forth conversation. Time to leave New York State. Changed my mind. I can't. I was worried about this 2 years ago when I ran. New York State is going to lose literally 2 congressional seats in the next census. 2. That is how bad my governor is. How do I know my governor is bad? Because people can't wait to leave my state. They are running out of my state faster than any other state. They're bailing on it like there's no tomorrow. We're going to lose 2 congressional seats in the next census. It is embarrassingly bad. How can we change? Here's the only way we can change. If people actually realize that the only way to beat Governor Cuomo in the next election is to vote gold. That's it. Republicans are not going to win in a statewide election. And for those who don't know New York State, it's very similar to California in that Republicans will often win locally. Democrats win locally, absolutely, because a certain area is much more left or more right all the time. Statewide, we are a super blue state. It's coming up on 3-1 Democrat to Republican. There's just no chance for the Republican Party to win a statewide election like governor, senator, AG. Not going to happen. Hasn't happened in about 20 years. Isn't about to happen. The state's not getting any redder. So Republicans are in a statewide election in New York State, dead party. So the only way of doing it is voting gold, because only libertarians can cross over both red and blue. So EJ, if we have some victories this year and you see us make some victory, that's how I can change your mind. If you see more libertarians winning in New York State, stay. If you don't tell you. I don't want to lie to you. I'm going to stay. I'm trying to make stuff work. I'm trying to make stuff better. I care about my state. I hope you'll stay with me. But you got to live, brother. I get it. You got to live. So, as I mentioned, am I optimistic? Kind of. Yes, Adam, Real ID is what I was talking about. Real ID is going to have a chip in it. Either it will or already does. I'm unsure where that is now. But that's how they will know kind of where you are. So that you keep your Real ID on you, they will literally know where you are by tracking the chip on your ID, not physically tracking you. They're tracking the ID card. So the ID card allows them to track you. So, yeah, Adam, you're right. That's kind of what we're doing here. Yes. All right. Joshua, I like your videos. The quality getting better every show. I'm trying, brother. I got to do this, man, right? Here's the problem, and if you guys notice, I was only going on once a week, sometimes 3 times every 2 weeks, here or there, and that was because we got other stuff. Now all we have is this, so I need to make sure I'm on more. I need to make sure people are seeing it. I need to make sure that we're paying attention. I mean, I think all of these things are important. They all matter. So. Yeah. Will I please ask Lincoln if he's committed to not pulling a Bill Weld? People already have, Brian, and you believe him or you don't. My opinion, Lincoln's not going back. In this case, I believe him. I am not endorsing or not endorsing Lincoln Chafee at all. I'm not. What I'm saying is, in this case, I do believe Lincoln Chafee is not going to go back. He wasn't welcome in the Republican Party anyway. He's not really welcome anymore in the Democratic Party. He doesn't really have any place to go. He'll either be independent or he'll stay with us. Why would he be independent? He is definitely liberty leaning. That's for sure. How libertarian is he? Up to you to decide if you think he's libertarian enough, but he's without question liberty leaning. That's true. And I don't think he can go anyplace else. So my view on Lincoln Chafee is I think he's with us for the long haul. However long it is for him, if he's going to stay in politics or not. I think he is. Just my opinion. Larry, is the New York vape flavor ban being submitted to legislation on Wednesday? I think it is. You know what? I should know that. And I feel like it is, but I haven't been spending as much time on the issue as much. A lot of people are spending a lot of time and energy looking at that. So yes, I think it is. They're trying to get that done. So Brian, thank you so much. Yes, I'm happy you were behind me. I appreciate that, and we need to keep going. Absolutely. Let's see if I can find this here. Yeah, I'm not sure if they're zombies. I think they're scared. I really think they're scared. The people in New York are scared. They really are. And people who are afraid make bad decisions. And voting for the same guy again and again is a bad decision, and they keep doing it, right? When people are afraid, they just keep doing the same thing. So our goal, any of you, I know not everyone watching is libertarian. I know that. But I know the vast majority of you who are watching are at least liberty leaning, and you can consider yourself part of the liberty movement. And the number one thing we have to do is not make people afraid. It's the number one thing. We have to be calm and cool and smart and have good answers and listen. And well, Larry, I don't have time to be babysitting. Then you don't have time to win and move people, because that's what people need sometimes. They need it sometimes. You got to remember, you've got Democrats who are literally saying, I want to be your mom. I want to give you everything. And Republicans saying, I want to be your dad. I want to protect you from everything. They're begging to be parents. All we want to be is your brother or your sister. We want to be your sibling. That's it. We know that you don't want to live with us. It's fine. But when you need to ride to the airport, we'll be there. And that's what I want us to be. So it's hard, I agree. But it's not impossible. It's just difficult. That's all. See if I can get a couple more of these. Well, did I go too far? All right. Oh, all right. Yeah, let me see if I went a little bit too far. Let me see if I can grab some of these from behind. I went a little bit too far. You guys give me a lot of stuff. I appreciate it. I don't want to miss anything. Should the LP nominee make being anti-war part of the centerpiece of that campaign? I think a couple of them are. I know that's a big piece of Hornberger, big piece of Whitney. I'm sure of that. That those are obvious. Mons, when I had him on, huge piece, right? So I know that many of them are. To be forward with you, I'm not that concerned as long as that's part of their campaign, right? Sometimes people have things that affect them personally, like some people who've been affected by the war on drugs. That may be the number one thing, or somebody who's been hammered because they lost their business, right? That taxation might be their big thing. And my view, Michael, as long as it's an obvious, open, important part of that campaign, I'm good. I don't think it has to be the centerpiece, in my view, because some people come to us because of other reasons, and I wouldn't want to force the anti-war piece if you've come to me because the government crushed your business, or you did time in jail for bogus drug charges, or insert thing here, right? So while I agree it's an important thing, I wouldn't think it's the number one thing. And before, right now, most Americans not concerned about war. Most aren't. The problem we have, and this is the 1984, the novel or the movie, if you know the movie, whichever you saw. This is the 1984 issue. It's perpetual war, right? And the way you saw it, if you remember this, I remember this piece vividly. When Romney was running for president, he goes, and this is a peacetime economy. And I thought, we've been at war for 9 years when he said that. Because in his eyes, peacetime meant the same old. So we're already in it. We've been at war now for about 18 years now? Is my math right? Something like that, 18 years now? We've been at war. So most people are so accustomed to war now that they don't feel like it's different. No, they're talking about this pandemic. It's a war. We're in a war zone. We've been at war for 18 years. 18 years. I remember early on they were saying, oh my God, we lost 100 Americans. We lose 22 a day, the veterans, to suicide every day. So while I get what you're saying, I'm not sure most Americans would agree with you. And as long as it's part of the campaign, I'm actually okay. That's my view. Maureen, in what future will you run for president? If you get on the TV, you will win. I can't say enough. You are the man for the job. Thank you, Cesar. I appreciate that. I don't know at all. I have left open 2024. It's possible. I don't want to promise anything. It can't be this year, as I've mentioned. I appreciate it. I will support whoever is the LP nominee. I will be helping them. I will help them in New York. I'll help them raise money. I will help them any way I can. Absolutely. I will, of course, try to assist whoever does win. I don't know. Maybe 2024. It's a maybe. I don't want to promise, but it is open. So, running for Congress with Trump, yes. But the goal, Joe, and this is another thing. Someone asked why I wouldn't run for president, because I couldn't, make the impact and do the job. Running for Congress here is the same thing. I don't want to run just to win. I tell other people, don't do that. It is a waste of time and resources and money. I don't want to do that. People do it anyway. They don't listen to me. But I tell them, don't do that. Run because you can make impact. You can make a change. You can do something. You don't have to win. I hope you win. You don't have to. But you got to make impact. People who say, I'm going to run so that people know libertarians are around. Nobody cares. That's a useless run. No one's going to give you money. If they do give you money, they're going to be disappointed that they did. Because you're not going to go anywhere. You're going to be forgotten. And it's over. I don't want that. And then when you're emotionally broken from the loss, which you thought you were going to do something, then you leave the party on top of it. Happens all the time. I'd rather someone not run. If I run for Congress, remember something. My congressperson right now is AOC. Yes, I accept your condolences. I live in the belly of the beast. Literally, Cuomo comes from my county. Trump comes from my county. And my congressperson is AOC. So yeah, and Bernie comes from my city, comes from Brooklyn, next door. Yeah, so I live in the belly of the beast, dude. If I run, I will lose to AOC or whatever Democrat they put up. My county is completely Democrat. I'm not going to win, and the Bronx is even tighter Democrat than Queens is, and my district covers both the Bronx, a part of Bronx and a part of Queens. No way I'm winning, so I'm going to spend a bunch of money, a bunch of time for nothing. I'm going to do that. That's not the right answer. I run when I can make impact. If I can't make impact, I'll do this instead. So thank you, Joe. I appreciate it. I do, guys. I love what you're saying, but I'm trying to practice what I preach. I preach don't run to win. If I run, and what if I did win? What if by some miracle I won? I would be one of 435. I'd have no impact. Right? The most libertarian-leaning congressman we have, right? Justin Amash, left his party because he couldn't be impactful. He became independent because he couldn't make impact. Right? The other libertarian-leaning ones don't make any impact either. I'm going to. I'd rather do it where I can make impact. So I hope I at least answered your question. I know you didn't like the answer. Sorry. But I wanted to at least answer it. 9/11 truth. I don't think anybody cares. I don't mean to be mean, Sean. I think so much has happened in 20 years or 19 years, almost 20 years. I think most people don't care anymore. I think it's hard for you to find enough people who care about 9/11. I know it sounds terrible. I don't mean to be a jerk. I don't. I'm just being forward. I live in New York City. I was here when it happened. I didn't see the first plane, but I watched the second plane hit. And people don't care. It's not an issue with them. So I think we won't. Again, I'm giving you guys answers you probably don't want to hear, but I'm just telling you what I think. I don't think enough people care. I think about the next thing, the next big thing, the next whatever the case may be. And now it's 20 years. Let's say you find out some bad stuff. Guys did bad things, that they lied or whatever. What are you going to do? Put them in jail now. So? What are you going to do? Execute them. So? What's changed? The country still changed. We still have Patriot Act. We still invaded Iraq and Afghanistan. We still have, 7,000 dead soldiers, sailors, Marines. I don't know if it even matters for most people. So, sorry, I'm just giving you my honest opinion. Okay. Sorry, having my Sharpe Way mug, which you can get, by the way, if you head over to sharpeway.com. You can get. So I'm telling you, that you absolutely can get. But if you do want to support Sharpe Way, please feel free. What I need from you guys, I know many of you are cash strapped now because of this. So I get if you can't go here and donate. No worries. Instead, share, like, comment, share, like, comment. If you can afford, if you got the right means, if you still got your job, you're still good, throw me some bucks. I could use it so I can keep this going. So please support if you can. If you don't have the means, no worries. Instead, share, like, comment. Every share, every comment, every subscription, everyone, it matters. Everyone of them does. So please do that if you can. All right, let me see if I can grab some more of these questions. Let's see. Should Americans be considering a voluntary Made in American campaign? Sam, without question, yes. Of course we should. Absolutely. Right? The thing we don't, I hope we learn from this. I don't think we have. As a country, we haven't. I hope as individuals we have. And that is, you don't want a monopoly or oligarchy in anything. Monopolies don't work. right? If everything's made in China, that's basically an oligarchy, right? Not the right answer. Do we want certain things made in China? Of course we do, right? Of course we do. We want things made all over the place. Of course. We want diversity all over the place. We want stuff made everywhere, including here. Yeah, I think a Made in America campaign is a wonderful idea. Absolutely. To the best of our ability. 100%. If we could do it, let's try to make that happen. From food to masks to everything else that we could possibly make. I think trying to have more things made here is not a bad idea. And one of the ways we do that is by not being so much of a not being so scared of 3D printing, right? Not being so afraid of 3D printing. I think that's one of the ways we can make that happen, you know? All right. Hold on, let's bring this up. I recorded a phone call to voicemail every day, letting her know I love her. Chris, well done, brother. Well done, man. Love that. All right, grab this if I could. Is it possible that, at least in the U.S., the general voter will see the Libertarian choice as the way to go when this is over? Maybe we need more L's in the ballot. Two parts of that. Monica, the first one is, I think it's possible that they will simply see that, my God, neither of these choices are good. And I think 4.5 million people saw that in 2016 and voted for Gary Johnson. Gary Johnson got about 30% of the vote, give or take. A little over 4 million votes, if I remember my math right, which is a lot of people. Obviously, I wish it was more. But still, it was a lot of people who thought, I don't like these two. I don't like Hillary. I don't like Trump. I'm going to vote for Gary Johnson. The sad part is the more afraid people are, the more chance they will go back to their old ways, right? If you lean left, you go Biden. You lean right, you go Trump, right? A lot of people are going to be voting Trump or Biden, not because they actually like Trump or Biden, but because they either fear or hate the other. I mean, I live in New York City. A lot of people hate Trump. And I mean, hate him. Like, you could say something that sounds like Trump, they'll start yelling. You can go, oh, I just hit a bump. Trump, oh my God, I hate him. And they'll start going on an hour rant how much they hate Trump. So, and even the opposite, people who, not as hard for Bernie, and not as hard for Biden. A lot of people I know who on the right don't hate Biden, but they hated Bernie. I mean, that's just from my personal view, my personal, circle. That's totally anecdotal. But in my own world, I found less Republicans hate Biden. They don't like him, but they don't hate him. They hated Bernie. I mean, oh my God, there was vitriol against Bernie. And left hates Trump. So if you hate Trump, you'll vote Bernie. You'll vote Biden, not because you like Biden, because you hate Trump. If you hate Biden, you'll vote Trump because you hate Biden. However, I don't think the answer is more L's on the ballot, because people tend to not vote for party when they have the two major. They tend to vote for the individual when they have the two major. We don't need more L's in the ballot. We need better L's on the ballot. And better, let me explain what better means. Better means people who can run real campaigns with real teams, real money, and can communicate well. That's how I define better, right? So if you can communicate well, raise money with a good team, you're a better candidate. I need better L's on the ballot. If I have an option of 100 L's on the ballot and 99 of them are mediocre to bad candidates, I'll take 10 good candidates with better teams any day of the week. I would rather have empty ballots with no L's on them, rather have none, than have bad candidates on them. Wasted time, wasted money, wasted everything. I want good quality candidates. Most people, and this is why I've been mad recently at my own party here in New York State. Most people didn't come to the Libertarian Party in New York State because they thought liberty was awesome. They came because they heard me speak and it seemed to make sense. They went, this guy makes sense. I like this guy. He makes some sense. And they came. That's why they voted for me. Not because, oh, he is a libertarian. I've been waiting for a libertarian. Some did. But the majority, that was not why they voted. They voted because this guy seemed to make sense. We need more people who go out there and make some sense. And we have them. Not enough of them are running, right? And then we have others who aren't good at that or should be supporting those people. So my view is, yes, it could happen, but it's not because we have a lot of L's on the ballot. It's because we have the right L's on the ballot. I hope I answered that question. All right. See if I can grab this one. Yeah, the stimulus is a horrible plan. 100% true. 100% true. It's not the right plan. I told you what the plan was. It's a 3-half plan. It's the right answer. And the MTA is going to collapse. The MTA is asking for more money already. The MTA is already asking for more money. And everything is, we got to get the federal government to give us money, which means the Fed is just going to print more money. I know you hawk libertarians, your head once going to explode. I hate it too. I've just come to the realization that it's going to just print the money machine. It's going to do it. It's going to do it. Okay, I got it. You win. It's going to do it. How do we do it to the best of our ability? And that is not with this plan. Just give the money to banks and just move on. So, all right. There is only one party, technically two that do. I agree. In reality, if you look at both parties, their rhetoric is very different, right? The way they speak, the things they say are very different. But in the long run, they're all about big government, big business, nothing getting any better. Nothing. There's no difference. So, all right. Larry, there's an alternative to UBI and the current economic problems. It's called prior choice economics. This can be a good complement to the liberty movement, and it's independent of ideologies. I don't know what that is, PCE. So I will look it up. I will figure out what that is. I don't know what that is, Luna. I hope it's a good idea. I don't know it. I will have my team look into it also, and we'll see if it makes some sense. I'm starting to have policy team meetings now, so I'll start doing that and see if it makes sense. Thank you. She says, book by Gabrielle Green. Yes, if you don't mind, put that in the link, and we should be fine. Thank you. Happy to look at it. Good. All right. What do you think about upstate issues versus downstate issues? You know, I've been talking about this, and there are many states like this. I bring this up in New York, but almost every state that there is in the union has similar issues, and that is, it's not really north versus south or upstate versus downstate. It is, but the biggest issue is it's urban versus rural, right? That's the biggest issue, Brad. People say in New York, they say, well, New York City runs everything. It doesn't. It actually doesn't. If you look at New York City, while there's 8.5 million people in New York City, 1/3 of the people, give or take, aren't born in the city, and another 1/3 aren't born in the country. So most people in New York City can't vote. So voting on New York City is maybe 2 million at max. It's about it at max. There's about 10 million registered voters in New York State. So the rest of the state could outvote New York City, but it doesn't for two reasons. One, upstate voters, the general rural voters, don't vote. They've given up. They know that why bother? My local guy is gerrymandered in, that they're going to win, and statewide, the Democrat wins. Why bother showing up? So in certain times, only about 30% of New Yorkers actually vote. Most of that's upstate. There are certain areas, districts within New York State, upstate, where 1 in 6 vote. That's how bad it is. They don't show up. So that's option one. But option two is, it isn't New York City versus upstate. It's all the cities upstate. For those of you who don't know New York State, there's also Albany, and there's also Rochester, and there's also Ithaca, and there's also Utica, and there's also Buffalo, and there's Syracuse, and those cities all vote blue too, right? They're all blue. All of those cities vote blue. So it really is urban versus rural, if you look at it that way, Brad. So I think that's the biggest issue. How do we fix this? Number one thing, localization. I talked about it constantly. Getting rid of unfunded mandates. Stop centralizing everything. Allow counties to be counties and have much more of their own control, right? There wouldn't be upstate versus downstate issues if what happened in downstate stayed in downstate. What happened upstate stayed upstate. Upstate people can be upstate. Downstate can be downstate. I am clearly a city boy. I don't hide that. It's obvious. I live in a city. I'm from the city. I speak fast. I'm a New York City boy. It's who I am. So why did people who are up in the rural parts of New York State say, wow, I like that guy? Because I wasn't trying to enforce my views or my ideas on you. I was saying, you be you, I'll be me, and we'll be good. So how do we fix these issues? What I just said. Brad, you be you, I'll be me, and we'll be good. We just do that, life is good. Life is good. Localization is the key. It's the way to make people not care about what the other guy or gal is doing, right? And we can come together when we need each other. As I say all the time, government should be much more like a fire department, right? Much like a fire department. If you need me, call me. I'm there. Your house on fire? You call me? I'm there. I will come help you when you ask me to come help you. Otherwise, here are some really cool tips on how to be safe. We're good. That's how government should work. I hope that answers your question. All right. Let's see. Ron Paul or Adam Kokesk, which should be your VP in you as a president scenario? Why would I pick one of those two? It's an odd question. I have no idea. That's an odd question. I just had Adam on my show like 2 weeks ago. You should go check him out. He was just on my show 2 weeks ago. Yeah. Adam's also, by the way, Adam also another Marine. So how do you think we can bring a more serious agenda to the Libertarian Party? Nathan, it's what I did. If you saw what I did, I still have it. Those of you who care, you can go to LarrySharpe.com and you will see all of my policies. I talk about actual answers to problems. I talk about answers to problems all the time. I don't say, most people when they first meet me and they talk to me, they assume that I am their party. If they're Republican, they assume I'm Republican. If they're Democrat, they assume I'm Democrat. Because I'm giving them answers that they like. They go, oh, I like that answer. That's a good answer. Oh, I like that answer. You must be my party. All the time. That's how we do it. I often have friends and family who know that I ran for office and I'm politically active. They will very often, when we're, hanging out, talking, ask me political questions. Very often. Well, what do you do about this thing? Constantly, I get that all the time. I go, oh, okay. Here's what I would do. Here is the answer. Here is a policy. That's how they start going, I should vote for this guy. I should vote for this guy. Which is why I say it often, because we do have too many people, Nathan, in our party. Too many who are what I call the bumper sticker libertarian. All they do is promote rhetoric. And rhetoric is fine if it's a left-right paradigm, right? If you're running as a Democrat or Republican, that's all it is. It's just rhetoric. See, that guy's bad, vote for me. See, she's bad, vote for me. I have better rhetoric than she has. Works perfectly. When you're not the two major parties, rhetoric just lands on nothing. And you guys hear it sometimes. And you watch the audience when they go, wow, we got to be about liberty and making people free and that kind of stuff, which is and government's evil. And that's rhetoric. That means nothing to people. All that does, unless you're libertarian. If you're libertarian, that's red meat. You love it. Nom, nom, nom. Give me more. Tell me how bad government is. Love it. But that's preaching to the choir. I'm not getting any new people with that. New people, I've got to have an actual answer. And then they go, haven't heard it before. Yeah, because all you've heard is left or right rhetoric. I'm giving you an actual answer. If you just throw libertarian rhetoric at them, they fall back to their old rhetoric, whatever sounds best to them. So Nathan, to answer your question, answers, answers, answers. As I try giving, as I try my best to give. All right. Hold on. See if I can find some good ones here. Yeah, Florida is going to gain 2 congressional seats. Guess where you got those seats from, Joe? You're welcome. Yes, you're welcome. It was so bad. This is probably 3 years ago, I'm going to guess. It was the Florida governor literally thanked Cuomo for all the money that we're giving them because New York is so bad that you can't retire here realistically. So what people are doing is they're doing, 20 years, 30 years, whatever's their time here. They're then picking up, moving to Florida, and spending their pension in Florida. So basically, New York taxpayers are taking money and giving it to Florida every year because we pay for their pension, and then they spend it in Florida because they move to Florida or North Carolina, South Carolina, one of those places. So, Joe, you're welcome. See that? Us New Yorkers, we help you out down there in Florida. You're getting that stuff from us. So, yes. Can't see it. Most people in New York agree with the governor. Sadly, yes. You don't know how disappointing this is for me. You are right. The governor has been our governor now, 9 years now. 9 years, almost 10. Almost 10 years now. And we voted him in for his 3rd term. By the way, no term limits in New York State. He can run for 30 years if he wants to. No term limits. None. So he can do whatever he wants. By over 60%. He trounced everybody else. That's embarrassing. He trounced everybody else. Meanwhile, we're losing 100,000 New Yorkers every single year leaving. We have a state that's broken in every way you can think it's broken. Corrupt state, obviously corrupt. Nothing works well in our state at all. And he still won. You're right. You're right. And he's literally shaking his fist at everybody else on how, oh, this coronavirus, no one knew what could have happened. Yeah, you did. You knew. That's why everybody sold their stock. That's why you're still doing fine. You knew it was happening. You saw it. You did nothing about it. You didn't prepare at all. And then once something happened, you didn't even rally people. The thing that drives me crazy, absolutely crazy, when bad things happen, a good leader should not say, shh, go, don't worry, I got you. That's a bad leader. A good leader says, guys, I need you. Get off your asses. This is big. Let's make this happen. If I'm governor, the second I see it happen in China, people start coming to me saying, because they're going to come to me, hey, Larry, you want to sell your stock? You know, something could be going on. When I start hearing that, I'm going to go, aha, we're starting to burn books now. I got it. I know how financial planners work. Let's start burning the books right now. I got you. So as they start burning the books, I start prepping and I start saying, hey, VFW, hey, Knights of Columbus, hey, local Boy Scouts, hey, local churches, stuff's about to get real. Let's start prepping now. Why don't we take some of those basements? I know you have Department of Building Regulations. We're going to freeze those for now so that you can either create makeshift hospitals and or, depending upon your environment, and or places where those who are working can sleep so they don't go home and infect the elderly, whichever makes the most sense for your community. Let's start relaxing those Department of Building Regulations so that can happen for you now. Not just that, let's end, I would petition the president, let's end the FDA and the CDC rules on creating ventilators and creating masks. So now locally, we can start producing them immediately. Why don't we have those people who are going to be in those places if you choose to make them hideaways for the elderly, if that's what you choose, give them masks, have them make masks. That's their payment, right? If you're wealthy and your mom or dad can go into a home and you can pay for it, good for you. What if you can't? Send to your local church, make that a home, only medical personnel there, all gloved up, masked up, and part of the payment is each person who's there daily, make some masks, make some ventilators. I'm gonna stop the 3D printing issues, get rid of that. Boom, start making some ventilators on that too. Let's start working on it now. We would have had everything up and running, rock and rolling. And once I asked that and people saw it happening, what would have happened? Big business would have said, ooh, something's going on. I see a trend. Let me start shifting now. Let me start shifting now from making Yankee jerseys to making Yankee masks. Let me shift now. Let me shift now from making car parts to making ventilators or whatever that thing is. They would have seen it in advance. You wouldn't have had to force them. They would have seen it happening, realize it, and start doing it. Why? So they could sell to the hospitals who need it. So they can sell to the churches who need it. So they can sell to the so-and-so. Or for PR purposes, when they can't get any PR and they can't get any marketing, they give it away for marketing. Give it away for marketing. Here, VFW, here, church, give it away for marketing. That's what I would have done as governor. I would have motivated people to get up and to help me and get going. Then would have been around the entire, as you saw me do when I was running for office. I would travel the entire state. Guys, come on, off your asses. Let's get going. New York would have responded like South Korea would have responded. Of course. Would have had checkpoints? Yes. Voluntary checkpoints. Meaning if you think you might have it, drive through and get tested. Yes. Why wouldn't I? That's what South Korea did. And they're doing great. So what we should have done, I would have voluntary checkpoints. Not wear your papers. Not those checkpoints. Hey, you think you might have corona? Drive through. Get tested. See if you are one of the people. Get information. Are you one of the people who's probably going to have a problem? Or are you one of the people who's probably going to have no symptoms? Are you one of the people who should be quarantined away from people or with people? Where should you be? That's what I would have done. That's what a good leader does. But we don't have that. And this started long ago. Remember Bush? When 9/11 happened? He didn't say get up and do stuff. He said, don't go back to work. We're going to bomb people. And then when the next crash happened, what did Obama say? Don't worry about it. It's going to give you money. It's going to give you money. And now what are they saying? Don't worry about it. We're going to give you money. Right in a row. Republican, Democrat, Republican. Don't worry, we'll give you money. We'll take more power. Each time, take more power. I'm sorry. Look what you made me do. It's your fault. You got me going. All right. Luna says, yes, you can't even buy raw milk in this state. This is another thing that drives me crazy. Not that I'm a raw milk fan. I'm not. I don't drink raw milk. I don't drink milk at all, to tell you the truth. So I don't really drink milk. I don't drink raw milk. I don't drink milk. It's not my issue. But it doesn't matter. Your body. If you want to put raw milk in your body, put raw milk in your body. But Larry, it might be bad for you. So cigarettes. So too much alcohol. Lots of things are bad for you. And if you want to put them in your body, you may. I don't get to tell you what you put in your body, right? It's the wrong answer. But New York State tells you can't put in your body. Can't put in your body. Can't put in your body. Except vaccines that you got to put in your body. Everything else, you can't put in your body. You can't put in your body. You can't vape. Why can't you put this in your body? Luna, it's your body. If you want to put raw milk in it, go ahead. I don't know why this is an issue. Now, to be clear, you might say, Larry, it might be unsafe. Okay, if the government thinks that raw milk is unsafe, no worries. The government doesn't put a stamp on raw milk. And you purchase as you feel appropriate. Do you trust that farmer or not? You don't? Don't buy from him. You do? Buy. But understand, no government stamp. Does the government stamp matter to you? If it does, don't buy it. If it doesn't matter, go buy it. I don't have a problem. I never have had a problem with the government creating standards and or certifications. I have no problem with that. If the government wants to create standards, certifications, fine. Culturally, we have accepted that government is supposed to kind of be the center repository for information. And I'm okay with that culture. It's how it works. I'm fine. I'm not going to fight that issue. It's a cultural issue we've had for a long time. So fine. Let the government say, here's what we think is safe. Do you want to get a government stamp? Do the things that we think are safe. But we're not going to stop you from selling it or buying it. We're simply not going to give you a stamp. And if the consumers value that stamp, they won't buy your stuff. If consumers don't value your stamp, they'll buy. So yes, you're correct, Luna. I wouldn't deal with that at all. All right. You trying to get me crazy today. The third party candidate can win without being under one of the two major parties. I assume you mean president. I'm assuming you mean that. As a general rule, can a third party win? Yes, and once in a while they do. We had wins. We had victories here in New York State. We had about 103 victories total. About 95 or so were a combination. For those of you who don't know, New York State has fusion voting, which means you can be on multiple lines. So most of those, about 90% of those, were 95%, were on two lines. Like they were Democrat and Libertarian, Republican and Libertarian. There were two or three things, and we got a lot of those. But we got 7 registered Libertarians. So third parties do win locally. It does happen. We have actually several hundred of those across the country. So they do win locally relatively often. It's a relative term. So yes, absolutely. National level, wow, it's hard. It's hard. Could it happen? It's possible. The issue is 3 things I think have to happen for it to happen. 1, the person has to be very popular, right? Very popular. Like or very popular and or very wealthy. If they're both very popular and very wealthy, they got a shot. And I bring this up as a joke, but I mean it seriously too. If Kim Kardashian, when they run for president, if she can get on if she could, find a party that could get her on all 50 states, she'd have a shot for only 3 reasons. 1, she's popular. People know her already, right? 2, she's wealthy. She could buy ads. She could buy time. She could do all the paperwork required. She can get out a bunch of information. You got a shot at that point. But 3, she'd be in debates because she's popular. How do I know that? Bloomberg got in debates because he's wealthy and popular, right? Democratic Party. If you remember, when Tulsi Gabbard and Andrew Yang said, hey, DNC, can you change the rules to get us in the debates? They said, no, of course not. Get away. Get away. You guys are chumps. Get away. Bloomberg said, change the rules. They went, okay, done. Changed them. Bloomberg got in. Right? Remember they had rules on how many donors you have to have? Bloomberg had no donors. He was writing his own checks. Oh, you don't need donors anymore. Why? Because Bloomberg's here. Why? Because Bloomberg's popular. Because debates aren't about giving us information. Debates are about ad revenue. And if you're popular, people want to see you. Here's what I know everybody watching, no matter what you might think about Kim Kardashian, you would so watch her debate. I would absolutely watch her debate. And so would every one of you. You would so watch a debate. You would cancel stuff to stay home and watch her debate. Yes, you would. So would I. So someone like that would have a chance. But the third piece, those are the first two. The third piece is there also has to be some other odd thing that comes together, right? Like two big scandals, the economy crashes, something else has to come with that. I think if you add those three things, yes, it could happen. But it's not going to be easy. So yes. All right. I already came to Hawaii. I was there last year in December. Already in Hawaii. Already spoke there. Did a fundraiser. I did 2-3 events there already. So Ryan, you missed me, brother. I was already there. Already was in Hawaii. All right. Bloomberg wasn't popular. Yeah, he was. He was actually beating people in polls in many states because they hadn't gone there to spend money, and he'd already spent money. So he literally was flooding states with advertisements where other people hadn't spent any time there at all. So he actually was popular. He was actually high on the polls because other states hadn't heard of any of the candidates yet. He already pushed them. So yes, he was popular. All right. Let's see if I can keep doing this. I went too far. Apologize. All right. Hold on, I gotta grab a couple of these. I appreciate all the time you guys are giving me to all these questions you're giving me. I'm trying to keep going. All right. I'm hoping that the crisis opens people's eyes that they're being held prisoner by government. Yes, I hope so too. I'm not sure that it will work. You know, I'm not sure. You know, I hope it will. I hope it will. So we'll see. I hope I explained what my plan of action for New York State was if I was governor of New York. I hope I explained that already. I think I covered that already. So yes, governor has been our governor for too long. Absolutely. Yes. And Joe, no, it doesn't make me feel any better. Just because I'm in a police state doesn't mean I want you to be in a police state. I would hope you would not be in a police state. So, you know, it doesn't mean you suffering with me. No, I'd rather you not suffer. I'd rather I have a place to run if I have to. People here already leaving. Maybe I got to come with them. So we'll see. Yeah. All right. What do you think about loosening restrictions on nonviolent victimless felons returning to the workforce? Right now, the choices are very limited depending upon the state. Well, this is a weird one, Tyler. The issue is, as a general rule, I want less people in prison, right? I want people who are nonviolent and have victimless crimes not even being in prison in the first place, of course. There are several issues with this, though. I wish it was a simple answer. It isn't. The first thing is they're letting them out now. Now, this is just to save money. While I'm happy letting them out, it's the wrong reason. And if the people are coming out now are nonviolent, why the hell were they in jail in the first place? If they are violent, why letting them out now? Right? So it's kind of bad either way. But on top of that, you're letting people out into a workforce where there's no work. Literally, there's no work. You're saying, go on out and get infected and maybe die, but at least we don't have to pay for it. Someone else will. It's a terrible idea for now, right? But the general rule, let them out. Of course. Why would I want nonviolent people who did a crime that wasn't, you know, for example, they had a firearm in New York State. Having a firearm that is not licensed on the wrong spot or the wrong place or the wrong borough or the wrong county is by default in New York State a violent felony. Note, having the firearm, possession, not doing something with it, you hit someone over the head with it, violent felon. That makes total sense. Shoot somebody with it, makes sense, violent felon. No, you just have it, you are by default a violent felon. If I'm not mistaken, I think you must do at least 5 years in prison. I'm sorry, I think you have to be sentenced, I think, to 5 years. You might not do 5 years, but I think you're sentenced to 5 years in prison, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's correct. So, yeah, those people, I don't know why they're in jail. I don't know why they're in jail. So I think in general, let them out. Now is horrible timing. What jobs are there now, right? You have 3 million people across the country who've applied for unemployment. That's just going to get higher. So now we're letting them out? Terrible. All right, Aaron. The voting will get more lopsided because people are leaving. Yes, this is Aaron. You've made the point that I keep telling people in this state. If you're a Democrat in New York State and you don't like Cuomo, you can't get another option because Cuomo won't allow it. No one's going to primary him, right? So if you like Cuomo, great, keep voting for him, right? Because he's going to keep winning. Go ahead. But if you're a Democrat and you don't like Cuomo, you're brainwashed to never vote Republican. I get it. That's how you were raised. You're not going to do it. You can vote Libertarian. You're never going to get a primary in New York State. How do we know this? Cynthia Nixon. Cynthia Nixon, who's a popular actor in New York City, in New York State. She's a popular actor, right? Was on a major TV show. People knew who she was. She had money. She spent over $100,000 of her own money on this. She had cash. She had friends. She had rich friends, Hollywood friends with tons of money. All of that stuff. She had it all. She couldn't even get 5% of the vote in the Democratic convention because he controlled every aspect of that. Why does that matter? In the Democratic convention, if you get 5% or more of the vote, you get to speak at the convention. He made sure she couldn't even speak. If he won't even let her speak, a popular person with money, how are they ever going to get a primary against him? Never. Never. So if you're a Democrat in New York State and you don't like Cuomo, your only option, Libertarian. If you're a Republican in New York State and you don't like Cuomo, which almost every Republican in New York State doesn't like Cuomo, and at least half Democrats don't. They vote Democrat because they don't like Republicans, but they hate their guy. So if you're a Republican, why would you ever vote for a Republican in a statewide election? Why would you ever do it? It is literally a wasted vote. You are throwing your vote in the garbage. Totally doing nothing. They're never going to win in a million years. It's never going to happen. Not going to happen. What's your only choice? Vote gold. Yes, the people who don't like Cuomo are the ones who are leaving. They're the ones who are hanging out with Joe in Florida, right? Heading out North Carolina, South Carolina. They're the ones who are leaving. So the only chance is vote gold. You're totally right, Aaron. Thank you. That's the only one. Absolutely. All right. Let's see if I can get this. Most people, they don't like that yet. Most people don't like the governor, but they still vote for him. Absolutely. John, thank you. Most people will realize that the reason why, what has made me the most upset personally here in New York State is the self-righteousness of my governor, who has said, oh, the federal government we didn't, and we got this problem, we got to fix it. And he starts talking, see, we have to, have a stockpile so that we can prepare for the future. Homeboy, where have you been for 10 years? This is your state. You're the one who screwed it all up. You're the one who made sure we weren't ready. This is all your fault. All your fault. And now you got righteous indignation? Whoa, how dare these people not? And we're going to force them and make them, and they got to do this and do that. You're the one who's allowed monopolies every place. You're the one who's allowed oligarchies every place. You're the one who's taken centralized control and made everything horrible and bad. You're the one who still has a certificate of need program when it comes to putting hospitals and medical facilities in that help ruin everything and get rid of our hospital beds. You're the one who makes sure that we still have to have a reason for a hospital bed. You decide versus the local communities. That's you who did that. Nobody else. You're the reason why we don't have enough hospital beds. It's your fault. You're the one who won't get rid of the stupid idea that if you get licensed in another state, you can't come to New York State and practice. How stupid is that? He could have stopped it. He kept it for 10 years. So we can't have medical personnel. Him. He's the one who said, don't make anything because the CDC is taking charge of it. The CDC should be making things. That's him. That's not anybody else. It's him. All his fault. Yes, the reason why people are leaving is because of him. He has had our state, been at the helm for 10 years. Whatever's bad is his fault. Without question, his fault. And he won't say anything. He'll take no responsibility, nothing. All right. Hold on. All right, Sonia, you said you were mocking, not kicking Cuomo. I think that was a Freudian slip, my dear. I think you wish you were kicking. Just saying. A little bit of psychology in you there. That's all. Yes. All right. And now the prime time. Cuomo prime time. Cuomo, so those don't know, some of you probably do know, the CNN anchor, Chris Cuomo, is related to my governor. I believe he's his younger brother. Oh my God, another guy, self-righteous ass, who just talks about, oh, it's all about, lives versus money, and that's all it is, and people are greedy, there's lives. Yeah, your family's wealthy. You got a cushy job on TV making a killing. If I was you, I might do the same thing. I wouldn't care about my 401k if I got an anchor job at CNN. I sit here and shake my fist at everybody else. Oh, you're all mean. I don't see him put his hand in his pocket. What's he doing? Sitting there just yelling at people. I could do that too. No problem. Sadly, I don't get that cool CNN paycheck. He does. And his family's rich on top of it. So he's fine. Right? He's fine. The self-righteousness of this drives me absolutely insane. Everybody's sitting here up top yelling about righteousness and lives, and they don't understand. And I'll be very real with you guys. The first crash, when it came, I didn't really feel it. I did, but I didn't. In other words, I didn't have that much to lose then in 2000, right? When the Twin Towers went down, I was doing sales stuff. I was hustling for my dollars. I didn't have kids yet. It was different. I wasn't even married yet. So it was different. When the crash 2008, 2009 hit, 2010, my life was really bad. I was that guy who was in a high-rise building when my office was on a 10th floor. I was that guy thinking, would it be better if I just fell out? I was at that point. And many of you know people, or you have been at that point where maybe it's better if just it all ends. Maybe it's better if it just ends. It's an accident. It'll all be over. The pain will be gone. I don't have to go through this anymore. It's over. That comes from this. There's going to be a whole lot of that. And people get mad at me. Oh, people got mad at me over this. Mad. And then we got guys talking about it now. More guys talking about it. The deaths of despair. It's a real thing. I felt it. I've seen it. You've seen it. There's a lot of people feeling like the world's ending. And sadly, if they're a male, the odds are much higher they'll actually do it, because if they're a male, they'll probably put a shotgun in their mouth. If they're a female, they'll take pills. That's just statistics. Obviously, there's differences, right? But it's not just that. It's also self-destructive behavior. Women getting into violent sex trade. Self-destructive behavior. Not because they've made a decision to do so, because they hate themselves and they're being self-destructive. Men getting into violence, drugs, because they hate themselves. They feel like failures. They feel like losers. They feel horrible. Then there's no hope. Who cares? Let's just make my pain go away. Literally obesity, diabetes. I'll eat my problems away. I played that game too. Many of you know, who follow me, you know that I'm on keto right now. That I've been in a keto lifestyle for about 9 years. Well, what happened about 9-10 years ago? Yeah, it's been 10 years almost. It was the crash. Why? Because I don't drink, I don't do drugs, so that wasn't my way of medicating myself. My way was food. I was shoving food in my mouth every goddamn day because I was hating life. That's how I was medicating myself. And for those of you who've had that food issue, you know, when you're eating, it feels pretty good. People shove the pizza in their mouth and a soda because it works. It's self-medication. It totally works. It's a short-term thing that makes you feel good when you're shoving that pizza in your mouth and you're drinking that soda. It feels good. And then you pay the price later. And I was paying that price later. And the only way I can get off of it, for me, was going no-carb, low-carb keto lifestyle, which I've been on now for 10 years. Yeah. Deaths of despair. This shit is real. And if you look at the stats began to get bad after the dot-com bubble. Then they got worse after the last one, and then get worse again. And it's all the self-righteous people who don't understand that, who don't get that their fathers, mothers, cousins, grandparents, who built up stuff in their life, who've gone somewhere, are now going to feel like it's over. Who wants to start again at 50, start again at 60, start again at 70? It's hard. How many people, and you know people, I'm sure, if you're watching, people who are 65, 70 years old during the crash, all of a sudden go back to work. Why? They got no 401k anymore. They don't have 401k. They don't have it. It's gone. 2009, wiped it out. They went from retired to being a Walmart greeter. How the hell do you feel? Larry, it's a job. No, you don't judge yourself by what job you have. You judge yourself by two things: your peer group and where you were. If I was up here and now I got to go be a Walmart greeter, I feel terrible. Particularly if all my friends are still up here and now I'm a Walmart greeter. I feel horrible. For my friends of Walmart greeters, I've always been a Walmart greeter, or I was one already because I enjoyed it. Who cares? Nothing wrong with that kind of job, by the way. Fine job. But people are going to judge themselves by where they are or where their peer group was. That's how they judge themselves. I'm sorry, I go on this too much because people don't get. The brain doesn't want to do two things. It doesn't want to die, and it doesn't want to be embarrassed. And not always in that order. Not always in that order. I'll stop preaching about that for now. Anyway. All right. Let's see. Will we see a Libertarian U.S. Congress next 4 years? I think it's possible. I do. I think it's possible. It will be challenging. It will not be an easy thing at all, but I think it's possible. If people begin to listen to me and stop running 45,000 campaigns, wasting all our time, money, and energy, and instead run a couple of powerful campaigns and put the right people together and do that, then we can do it, right? We have to get the right people in the right spot. Yes, we can do it. Once we do, there's an advantage. If we get one Libertarian elected into Congress, here's what will happen. Some people in Congress will change their parties. One of the reasons why we don't have as many Libertarians, talent, if that makes sense, is because our infrastructure isn't very good. It's because our image isn't very good. It's because our donor base isn't very good. But when people see, oh, wait a minute, they have a donor base, they have infrastructure, they can win, I'm in. Because a lot of people are in their party now because it's the only way they think they can win. And sadly, often they're right. I want to change that. I want that to not be true anymore. I think it's not true already, but I have to have proof. Me thinking that isn't good enough. So I think once we get one, or even someone gets close, I think we can do it. We get someone close, we can do it. If we get a couple to where they make impact, believe it or not, in a state assembly. Right now we have a couple here or there, but they're not making real impact. And many of them also caucus with one of the others. But when we get 2, 3, 4 in a state assembly that caucus on their own, they are a separate caucus and they can be the swing vote in a couple of issues. When that happens, then they'll see the same thing happening in Congress. What most people don't understand is we as Libertarians can control the government with far less than 51% of the vote. Far less. Far less. Because in many states and in our country, it's relatively close. Imagine if in the Senate right now, we had 5 Libertarians. 5. We'd have a whole lot of power. A whole lot of power, which is 5 Libertarians out of 100. 5% of the Senate. How much power we have? We would a swing vote on many things. We had 15 in Congress. Just 15. Not as powerful as the 5 in the Senate, but 15, that's a movement right there. Just 15. So to answer your question, I think we can. We have to, I think, first do it in a state assembly where we actually make impact, where we are the swing votes. We do that. I think it could work. All right. Let's see. I don't know what boycott CBS is. I'm not sure what that is. All right. Deaths of despair to make headline news. They will, but it will be too late. It'll be too late. Because most of the time, the deaths of despair, they aren't immediate. That's the problem. It's despair, right? It's not like, I'm sad now, jump off a building. Not how it works. I've been there. I've helped people who've been there. I've helped people not be there anymore. If you know people who've been through that world, yeah, that's what often happens. So death to despair takes time. It doesn't happen in 5 minutes. It happens in 5 months, sometimes multiple years, right? Because remember, it starts usually with self-destructive behavior of some type. Overeating, overdrinking, drugs, gambling, insert thing here, often begins that way. Abandoning your family, abandoning friends, now also going to virtual worlds, right? Virtual worlds, video games, that kind of thing. All those things. It begins with that and separating yourself, right? Starts with that. That could take months before the point where you can't pay your bills anymore, or you have no more friends anymore, or you feel like there's no point, right? Or you feel like a loser or whatever. You know, each person has their own level of, oh my God, I'm a loser, I should end it. And that's how someone feels at one point, right? They feel at the point that it makes no sense. I'm a loser. Let me just end this, right? At one point, someone gets to that level. Depends on who you are, your support structure. That could be a month. That could be years, right? If you have a very healthy, if you have a healthy personality and a good support structure, that could be years before that death of despair actually is there. In fact, certain people, because you're strong or they believe you're strong, won't believe it to be true. In fact, because you know you have a reputation, you'll hide it. You'll hide it very well. Most people, the vast majority of people in my world, didn't know how bad my life was. I hid it. I isolated myself, and I hid it completely. I totally isolated myself so that no one could see how bad things were. And often people do that. That's why they're like, oh, I can't believe you did it. I never knew. Well, yeah, because she was hiding it. She was hiding it the whole time because everybody thought she was so awesome. She thought she was so awesome too. And then this hit her. And she couldn't respond. And she couldn't get back. And she couldn't get off her feet, off the ground. She couldn't get back on her feet. Why? You need help to get back on your feet. For those of you who know me, my mom was an addict. She was in prison. I pulled her out. I helped her get back on her feet. She couldn't have done it by herself. Not because she wasn't strong, because nobody can. Let me say it again. Not because she wasn't strong, because nobody can. And everyone who thinks they can, they're finished. They're finished. If you think I could get off, no, you can't. You can't do it by yourself. You can, not by yourself. If you didn't do it by yourself, you're finished. And that's what happens often. Everyone thinks, I'm strong, I'm not like that. And then the ball game's over. So you're totally correct. This has to stop making headlines. The sad part is we're not going to see this for 6 months to a year. We're going to see a rise in drug abuse, rise in sexual diseases. That's how you know that prostitution is going, sex workers. And again, not that sex work by itself is necessarily a bad thing. That isn't the issue. It is self-destructive sex work that we're talking about, right? Literally having unprotected sex on purpose to hurt yourself and hurt others. You're going to see that begin to happen, right? It's self-destructive. Drug abuse. Not someone taking drugs, drug abuse, right? You're going to see those things, right? Physical abuse. People trying to do the old death by cop, right? That kind of thing. Trying to end it, having some cop shoot them, right? All those other things. That's going to start happening. So, anyway. Daniel, thank you for this. They are not Walmart greeters. They are receptional specialists. I stand corrected. It is a fine job anyway. Yes, fine job. Maybe we'll have it who love it. My point is, if you think you're up here and now you believe you're down here, you're going to feel terrible. That's the issue. You are going to feel terrible. And to be forward, it actually doesn't matter, right? What's reality? It matters what you feel, right? You might say to yourself, you know what? This guy's doing fine. He's got a job. He's got this. He's got that. He's still got a family. Yeah, but if he feels terrible, then he feels terrible. It doesn't really matter. It's how someone judges themselves more than anything else, right? That's the issue. How do they judge themselves? That's the issue. So, guys, as always, I want to make sure, please like, share, comment. Please do that. It matters. Like, share, comment. Keep sharing, keep liking, keep clicking. All that stuff. All that matters. It gets things going. And as you will hear me say 1,000 times, Please go like the Sharpe Way Facebook page if you haven't already. Please go do it. Go like it. It's important. Please go follow the Twitter. This stuff matters. The more you can do it, the better. The more people see it, the more it gets shared, the more this goes. Please do it. And of course, subscribe to the YouTube page. Go subscribe. I know you guys love me. I love it. You tell me you do. Awesome. You guys show me up by doing this. It matters. If you guys have the means, please support the Sharpe Way, right? If you got the means, I know a lot of us don't. I get that completely. If you've got the means, please go ahead, patreon.com/SharpeWay, throw a couple bucks. And if you don't have the means, share, 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 and share. All right, let me keep going. So what is the best we can fight, stop civil asset forfeiture? This is one of the hardest ones right here. For those of you who don't know, civil asset forfeiture, some of you may not realize this, is literally the government walking in and saying, I'm going to take your stuff. And it doesn't even matter if I arrest you. All I have to do is believe that you might have done something. That's it. Believe you might have done something. I can take your stuff. That's civil asset forfeiture. And sadly, Sam, that's going to get worse now. Because how are they going to pay the bills? They're going to have to become worse pirates than ever. They're just going to start taking stuff. How do we fight it? Sadly, some of you may not know this. This is how the law works. Sam, you're driving your car. I pull you over because you were speeding or whatever, or you ran a red light, whatever you did, I pull you over. And I ask you, hey, Sam, how are you? I'm curious, do you have any large sums of cash in the car? They literally ask this question. And if you're afraid, you go, I don't want you to think anything. Yeah, I just cashed my paycheck, or I just sold my car. I got $5,000 in the car. It's what you know. It's not drugs. I sold my car. Here's my receipt. I sold my car. He goes, okay, can I see the money? You go, yeah. He goes, I'm taking it. I think this is drugs. I'm taking it. That's literally all he has to do. I'm not joking. You think I'm making this up? Do your own homework. There's tons of data on this. He can just take it. Now, you can then say, no, I have a right, 6th Amendment, 4th Amendment, blah, 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 blah. And they go, no, you don't. Sorry, you don't. Now, you would think that the cop or the DA, whoever's taking the money, has to prove that you were doing drugs. They don't. Under civil asset forfeiture, you have to prove that it wasn't. How do you prove that it wasn't drugs? How do you prove that? Yeah, you have to have a lawyer who you must spend more than $5,000 to get to be able to prove it and be able to fight it. So you can do it on principle, I guess. You'll pay $20,000 to show the government that they were wrong. You'll lose $15,000 because you get your $5,000 back minus fees. By the way, they will still charge you fees for holding your money, even though they shouldn't have held your money. So you'll be charged fees anyway. So once they take your $5,000, if you're lucky, you get $4,400 back, and it costs you $10,000 to get it back. There are some lawyers now who will take a fee. For example, if they took $40,000, they'll give me 15%, 30%, 20%, whatever that fee is, then I'll go do it. So then you got a better shot because they're getting a percentage. You're getting some of your money back. But that's it. The only way to end civil asset forfeiture is only one. End the war on drugs. That's it. End the war on drugs. You end the war on drugs, this will go away. This is the whole reason for it. Civil asset forfeiture starts with war on drugs, then got validated even more by war on terror. Right? War on drugs began it. War on terror solidified it. Well, these are all terrorists, right? You might be a terrorist, so I take your money so you don't blow up another 9/11. Like, that's the reason why. Because you know what 9/11 cost? Thousands of dollars. No, it didn't. It cost almost nothing. It's box cutters. Box cutters. Yeah, but drugs. UBS literally launders billions of dollars for drug cartels. Again, I'm not making that up. Do your own homework. Not once, multiple times. It's probably doing it right now as we speak. Big banks launder money for drug cartels. But they got to steal me or Sam's money because we might be drug dealers? Really? It is a horrible thing. Civil asset forfeiture is embarrassingly bad. Any judge who says it's okay should be ashamed of themselves. Any DA who does it should be ashamed of themselves. It is a horrible idea. It should not exist. It is unconstitutional. It is wrong, unethical, immoral, nothing but bad. Now, if you're convicted of a crime and they take the money because they have evidence they used because you committed a crime, take the money. Makes total sense. But it's not called criminal asset forfeiture. It's civil. There's no crime. There's no crime. To be clear, they don't have to arrest Sam. They don't have to even charge nothing. That's it. You want to end this, end the war on drugs. The first step to end the war on drugs, the first step is total legalization / decriminalization of cannabis. That's the first step. The first step. That's not the last step. It's the first one. Many of you hardcore libertarians, you get mad at me when I say that. You can't do that. It's got to be all drugs. I want that eventually. The country is simply not ready for it at all. Remember, Bloomberg was running for president and was still scared of legalizing weed. He was running for president. Scared of legalizing weed. That's it. Just scared of that. Forget cocaine, heroin. Oh my God. No way. Come on. Scared of legalizing weed. That's where we are still. This country's nowhere near. If you think of a bad guy, right? Just think of a bad person. If you ask someone, a bad person, who can you describe a bad person for me? Who's a bad person? The average American will say something like, well, he's maybe a murderer, drug dealer. Yes, that equals bad person. So like someone who sells marijuana, yeah, weed, drug dealer. It's a bad person. I know a lot of people who sell weed. They're not bad at all. They're pretty good people. And there's not like if they screw somebody over that they can call the cops, and they're still pretty good. They're still pretty good. So I don't know. I don't think we're anywhere near getting rid of the war on drugs. I agree, but I think we have to. The first step is dealing with marijuana. First step. Legalization or decriminalization? Yes. This is an issue. A lot of people get mad at me on this one too. Larry, you have to decriminalize. You can't legalize. Blah blah. I want decriminalization. Most Americans are simply not going to accept that. So what did I do? If you remember when I was running, what did I say? I said regulate like onions. What does that mean? Not much regulation at all. That was the point. Nothing special. Not licenses. You don't need a license to put onions in your backyard. There are some regulations on onions actually in New York State, which I didn't know about when I said that. But if it's just those, fine. But we're fine. Like bananas, like tomatoes. I don't care. Pick the fruit or vegetable that you like. I'm happy, but regulate like that. What does that mean? If I say decriminalize or unregulate or deregulate, many people, particularly in my state, New York, will get afraid. Oh, no regulation. The world's going to end. People are going to die. And they're not going to vote for it, and they're not going to support it. So I use the word that they like, regulate. They love that word, regulate. Oh, good. Control, government, like that. Yeah, regulate. I got you. I'm with you. In the same word, we're going to regulate. Like something that's not really regulated. That's the goal. Regulate it like something that's not really regulated, right? Regulate it like this thing that is a normal thing that people buy every day. If we do that, I think that's the answer, Joe. I know I didn't follow your legalization, decriminalization. I didn't follow that because I think that's an argument that we get into that just makes things bad. It makes people get upset. Then we fight back and forth. I don't want to fight. I just want safer people. So I will use the word they like, which is regulate. I'll just make it like something that's not so bad. Insert a thing. I liked onions because, for those who don't know, in Western New York, we grow a lot of onions. So I happen to be in Western New York when someone asked for this, and I made this policy up basically on the fly. And so I said, regulate like onions. And it just stuck. That's the reality of how I made it up. I just made it like, well, I was in Western New York at the time, and that's how I made it up. I didn't care what fruit or vegetable you used. So I'm not really a legalization or decriminalization person. I may regulate it because people like that, like something that's not a drug. Insert thing here. If you find that, you keep going. Would I like decriminalization? I would. I think most people just won't get that. And I want to move forward. I don't want as long as moving forward, the first step is obviously not the end step, I'm good with it. As long as we're in the right direction. What many of you heard me say before, and I'll say it again because it's important. I would love a fully voluntary society. Love it. We are nowhere near that. We are so far away from that. I cannot explain how far away. And then many libertarians will tell me, no, Larry, I know lots of people. You're living in a bubble. I live in the largest city in our nation. I crossed this country more than once. I've crossed this state 3-4 times already. I met a lot of people. The vast majority of this country, nowhere near ready for voluntary society. Not ready for it. Not prepared for it. Won't do it. Will fight against it. Will dig in. Worse. So all I want to do is take us, because right now we are facing completely towards oligarchy, towards dictatorship, towards centralized control. I want to move us the Sharpe way. The Sharpe way. Towards freedom, towards openness, towards decentralization, towards freedom, safety, liberty, that way. If I just turn us around and we start walking this way, I'm good. I've done my part. Now, you know what, Joe? You jump on top of it and move it further. You go further. You push it further. I'll turn us around, face this way. You push more. I'll get behind you, help you push. But I'm going to turn us around. That's all I want to do. So I hope that was a decent answer. So, all right. Hold on. Do you think that arrest for those violating COVID orders and stay at home would be disappointingly poor? Oh, maybe. Undereducated African Americans? Maybe. You know what? As a general rule, one that happens in most major cities, it tends to be more people of color. And I'm not sure. Let me be very clear about this. The average cop, when they become a cop, I don't believe is any more or less racist than anybody else. I don't think they're any more or less racist than anybody else. I think the war on drugs with civil asset forfeiture has been brought up. When you've got to seize stuff and take stuff and get arrests because cops are given accolades and judged by arrests, right? So you've got to arrest people. The people who tend to get convicted and are good busts and good arrests tend to be poor brown and black people. They don't have money. Many of them are immigrants. They're afraid of the law. They'll understand the law. They think that the public defender is good enough. He's not. She's not. But they believe that. Well, they have enough money for it. They could be naive. And it's just easy to take their stuff. And they have cash, right? If you go into a wealthy neighborhood for civil asset forfeiture, they don't have cash. Wealthy people don't carry cash, right? They've got, credit cards and debit cards and checks. They don't carry cash. You can't seizing a checkbook isn't going to work. Taking cash, awesome. Who has cash? Small business owners, particularly in poor neighborhoods. People who don't trust banks, foreigners, right? Immigrant communities, right? Or people who don't understand finance at all. Lower socioeconomic status. They think everything's payday to payday. They keep cash around all the time. Drug dealers. That's cash because they can't use banks. So where do you go? You go there. As you go there, remember your entire career. When you first start, you're just a regular cop thinking you did the right thing. And by the time you've been a cop for 5 or 10 years, you've spent the last 5 or 10 years putting a lot of brown and black people away, arresting a lot of brown and black people. What do you start thinking? Brown and black people are bad. That's all who I arrest. That's who I arrest. That's who I see. That's who I'm putting away constantly. You start thinking that. Of course you do. How does that community look at you? Like you're a bad person, like you're an ass, like you're a terrible person. They start hating you. What do you start doing? You hate them back. This is just human nature. The war on drugs makes cops racist. That's what happens. How do you know this? Because even black cops shoot black people. Even brown cops shoot brown people. Right? It isn't just it's the white guys. White guys shoot them too. Yes, but so do black cops and so do Hispanic cops. And so do cops. because the system makes them racist. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure there are racist people. They're everywhere. They exist. But I'm saying when you have a system that does this, of course. How do I know this? My father was in law enforcement. He had friends who were hardcore cops. My father was not a hardcore cop. He was first a MTA cop, then he became a corrections officer. And I remember how he felt about many people. I mean, he thought ex-cons were just bad people. He believed it. Why? That's what he saw every day. Bad people at Rikers Island. That's where he worked, Rikers Island. That's what he thought. That's what he saw every day. What else would he think? Oh, ex-cons are bad people. Terrible people. Well, you all thought that. Of course he did. So he saw it every day. He had one of his friends who was a cop who was hardcore and went undercover. He was undercover for many years. He thought everybody was a crook. Literally, he'd be looking around. I remember I was a kid. I was probably, 7 or 8 years old. I forgot how old I was. I was elementary school. And we're walking around, and he's pointing out people and telling me what crimes they either have committed or going to commit. Yeah, her right there, she's going to commit boom, boom, boom. That guy, you know what he is? He's a so-and-so. That's what he does. I'm like, God damn. He knew he had everyone pegged. And to be clear, he was black too. My father was black. He was black. And he was pointing out, oh, he's that, he's that. So, Martin, I went long on your question. I apologize. But I think it probably will be that. But not because cops are any worse or any better than anybody else. Because their system sucks because of the war on drugs. End the war on drugs. I can't keep saying it. End the war on drugs. The war on drugs literally makes cops bad people. So, and Carla says so. Thank you, Carla. Yes, it's exactly correct. It makes people bad. It is a terrible idea. I can't stand it. So, yes, thank you, Joe. You like my answer for regulate. That's the answer. Regulate it like something that really isn't regulated. That makes everyone feel good. It's a win-win for us all, really. Guys, I want to ask you if you could please, again, subscribe, follow on Twitter. It matters. Like and comment. I know I say it. Please do it. It does matter. Click on the Facebook page. If you've got the means, support the show. If you don't, like, comment, share. If you can support the show, please do so. We could use it. I'm not working here either. I'm sitting here doing this. And please, like, comment, share. It matters. This is free. Just take some time. I'm asking for some time. Guys, I want to say thank you so much for today. I appreciate it. I hope it was good answering all your questions. I want to keep doing this every week or so, spending some time doing some Q&A. I'm going to have some more guests on. I will. Got to find the right guest at the right time, so I'll do that also. I'm trying, as you know, to go live every day so that we can stay sane and give you guys some ammunition to be talking to all the people who are trying to convince us that libertarianism is not the answer when liberty is absolutely the answer. Have a good night.